It's time for the legends. If this is your first time to this channel and you love movies and martial arts, consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, hit that bell notification so you don't miss anything. Welcome to Fight Scene Friday, the show where we analyse the fight scenes from some of your favourite movies. My name's Asten Regis, and on today's show, we're going to be looking at the dragon, the legend, Bruce Lee, from his famous film Enter the Dragon. This is a kung fu classic, a martial arts classic, a film that changed martial arts in movies in Hollywood forever. Now, Bruce Lee, he'd been trying to get into Hollywood for years, having the doors shut in his face. He got in a few TV shows, playing some smaller roles, but he had to go to Hong Kong really to make it. Then he had his movies, The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, and his baby, which was Way of the Dragon, which he directed. They smashed the box office records in Hong Kong. So that obviously got attention of Hollywood and Warner Brothers. He was in the middle of doing what would have been another masterpiece movie of his, The Game of Death. And this was a film which he really spread his philosophy of martial arts, mixed martial arts really. He was really the grandfather of mixed martial arts because he was the one who was pioneering in the time where people didn't believe in mixing styles and all of this business. They thought that certain martial arts were the best, and even today people still feel that way, or some people feel that way. Less so now with the rise of the UFC and mixed martial arts, and obviously the Gracies bringing jiu-jitsu into the limelight and showing actually you need to know how to fight on the ground, etc. But he was really the pioneer of that kind of thinking, and he used his movies to express that. This fight scene was great because it's at a pivotal point in the movie. He's a spy for the government and he's looking at this martial arts tournament, which was really a host to get more soldiers for their terrorist organization, for their drug kind of smuggling and drug dealing organization. Bruce Lee is doing some infiltration. He tried it earlier in the film and now he's doing it this time, but this time he gets caught. The alarm goes off, and at this point it's time to see the dragon. It is time to enter the dragon at this point. And just the fight scene was great because you see him taking on all these guards. One of them being Jackie Chan actually. There's a part where he's taking on a few of the guards and he grabs one of the guys by the hair and then it zooms into him and he breaks the guy's neck and you don't really see it. But the guy that he grabs is actually Jackie Chan, the young Jackie Chan. So Jackie Chan was a stuntman before he became a star, which is why he was able to perform all these great stunts on screen. But what I love about this fight scene, not only because he's taking on multiple opponents, but he's taking on multiple opponents using different strategies. He's able to take them on empty-handedly, then he finds they bring weapons, he manages to disarm them, he gets a staff, he's able to use that to beat all of his opponents. Obviously he's got a lot more leverage with the staff. Then he gets double the screamer sticks, he uses that as well. He learned the screamer from Dante Santo, who's a famous Filipino martial artist, one of his students. So he brought that into the fight scene as well, the double the screamer sticks. So he went from using a pole to using the double the screamer sticks, and then his famous scene with the nunchucker, And it's amazing because the guard attacks him with a nunchuck, he disarms the guard, and then the guard's watching him and he's there wielding the nunchuckers. And at this point, the guards are watching him kind of amazed by what he's doing. And then he decides to attack him. I'm thinking at that point, it's time to run, You see this guy's obviously a lot more skilled than you, but foolishly the guard attacks him. I think this fight, more than anything, kind of showed the legend of Bruce Lee. It showed his ability to use martial arts in any way that he saw fit, to adapt to his opponent. This fight scene kind of shows Bruce Lee his ability to adapt to his opponents, to be able to use any weapon, to be able to fight multiple opponents no matter what their skill level was. It was just a great kind of introduction for the West really, because a lot of people maybe thought he was very famous outside of Hong Kong, but he wasn't at that time. Enter the Dragon was released a couple of weeks after he died, so he never got to see the release of this movie, but he was very excited about it. He knew how big it was going to be. It was his dream to always bring this martial arts action to Hollywood, and at a time when non-white leads, especially for him, there was no Chinese leads in these roles, So he kind of pioneered that. His charisma, his ability to lead the movie. It had never been done really in Hollywood before, so this was like a first time that this had really been done. So Enter the Dragon, it was quite a benchmark movie, and not a lot of people realise that. I think a lot of people, because of the legend of Bruce Lee, and because there was so many knockoffs of his movies and of him, and there was a renaissance of that in the 80s and 70s, of all these Bruce Lee imitators, that people thought that he did more films than he did in terms of martial arts action films in that kind of peak period of his life. But unfortunately he died quite young, so he was just beginning his career. The Enter the Dragon movie really would have blown him up to the world, and it did blow him up to the world, and he became the legend that he is. But you know, who knows what he would have done if he had lived. You know, I'm sure he would have done a lot more. Hollywood would have been like throwing money at him to do movies after that movie, because it was a massive success. And this fight scene was just great. It was fantastic, because one thing he wanted to do was bring a sense of realism to martial arts action on screen, because a lot of the Hong Kong films from back in the day were a lot of the wire fu and a lot of the crazy fantasy type of action, which, you know, works well on screen, but he wanted to bring a more realistic fighting kind of style to cinema and kind of spread his Jeet Kune Do kind of message within the film. He thought that film was a great way to kind of spread that message to the world, rather than trying to teach people one-on-one, because you only have so many hours in the day. There's only so much one man can do. But as a movie, it can be spread to so many people, and that's what his aim was in his movies, was to spread his message of martial arts and training, and his philosophy of being adaptable and being able to use many different methods to express yourself, like he says. And I felt this fight, he really expressed himself very well, you know. It's a great fight scene to watch. If you haven't seen Enter the Dragon, what are you doing? Watch Enter the Dragon. This fight scene is great, and again, it shows the multiple skills of Bruce Lee, the ability to use different weapons, the ability to adapt to any opponent, and well worth a watch. Well worth a watch. So this is a Bruce Lee classic, Enter the Dragon, classic for martial arts action movies. I love the movie. I'll leave a link in the description below if you haven't seen the movie and you want to check it out, and yeah, worth checking out. Anyway, if you like this video, hit that like button, share, subscribe. So comment down below, let me know what you thought of this fight scene. Was it one of your favourite Bruce Lee fight scenes? What is your favourite Bruce Lee fight scene? Also, what did you think of the way that this fight scene was structured? Did you think that Bruce Lee taking on the multiple opponents with different weapons really demonstrated his martial arts philosophy well, like I did? And did you know that was Jackie Chan that he grabbed in that fight scene, that young Jackie Chan who was the stuntman? Did you know that before you saw this video? I'd love to know your thoughts. Leave me a comment, let me know. Anyway, I'll see you next Friday for another Fight Scene Friday. And remember, behind every fight is a great story. Peace!